Deutsche Bank put out an idea over in Germany that maybe there should be a 5% work-at-home tax for the pleasure of those working at home. Of course, those working at home weren't too keen on the idea, but that would be on top of the taxes they are already paying. And if it comes here, we are already paying. Deutsche Bank apparently crunches the numbers to say it could mean upwards of $48 billion a year in revenue, for which governments could do a variety of things. Francis Newton Stacy joins us, Optimal Capital Director of Strategy. Mike Murphy, Rosecliff founder, managing partner. Francis, what do you think of this proposal?
Well, we have historic fiscal deficits, and it's not going to get any better. As we say, the virus is going to stick around and it's going to cost us money, and we need fiscal stimulus. However, this sort of punishes the people that are working from home. And, I think that's a little bit unfair because these people did make it go right to work from home, which is not easy. People think it's a luxury. It's not a luxury when you've got kids and Jack Russell Terriers and lighting issues and different issues. And, they made it go right, so they didn't have to collect unemployment. And so, to then punish them after the fact, after they've relocated, changed houses in many respects, it's really tough. And also some of the tech companies, Twitter and VMware, have said that they're going to pay salaries commensurate to where someone's living. So if you're living in Idaho and working in Silicon Valley, you're going to get a hit there. And by the time they get, chipped away with taxes or these things, they're going to hurt the consumer because these are the guys that are employed and these are the guys that are keeping the economy going.
Mike, it does make you think that this could be a smart strategy for big city mayors, big state governors worried about all of this, working from home, that people could decide, look, I don't need to go into these high tax areas. I can do it from home, tax whatever my rate is where I'm housed. It could have far-reaching consequences here, don't you think?
Absolutely. And Neil, I think you might be giving, speaking for New York, you might be giving too much credit to our mayor and our governor. But
probably.
I think when you talk about increasing taxes on working people, I think that's just a non-starter. If you're going to make it 5%, why not make it 10? Let's go to 20 while we're at it. We'll give the governor and the mayor and the people running the local districts, give them more money to do what? I don't know. I don't know what's happening with it. It's a terrible idea. It's a non-starter. And I think what's happening is we come out of this pandemic, businesses have had to reinvent themselves. People have had to reinvent their jobs. We're talking on a Zoom right now, you and I, instead of sitting across from each other. So people are changing the way their lives, they've led their lives, they're changing the way they've earned a living. And to put an extra tax on them for the sake of putting a tax on them is just stupid. I think we need to get the country open as quickly as possible. We need cities, states open as quickly as possible. Yes, cases are up, but we need people to be able to go in and work, and to start hitting people with new excess taxes, I think makes no sense at all.
Yeah, I am getting a sense, though, from this, Dr. Osterholm was advising Joe Biden that they might entertain, if he were to come into office January 20th, as looks fairly inevitable, that they would revisit something on a more national lockdown type basis. What did you make of just that, Francis?
Well, the thing is you have to weigh all the costs of a lockdown. You have to weigh the economic costs. You have to weigh the psychological costs, the opioid abuse, the things that have occurred as a result of the lockdown, and then weigh that against the COVID cases and the deaths there, and weigh that against, having COVID maybe stick around versus eradicating it. And just statistically, it's very difficult to do, and we will only know if we've made the right decision in hindsight. But the longer that this economy is at a standstill, and the longer it is until we can agree on new fiscal stimulus, and if the CARES Act expires December 31st, and you have all the moratoriums on eviction expiring, you're going to have so many people that are in so much pain. So I think if we were going to go on a lockdown again, we'd have to consider that very seriously. And of course, we will get the benefit of seeing what happened with Europe for a second lockdown.
Mike, real quickly, clearly the markets are worried about this virus thing. I can't think of other issues that would be weighing on them. But the fact that the cases are spiking has them worrying about more aggressive government action to rein them in, right? I mean, that's something markets typically don't like, right?
Correct, Neil. And I think really the market doesn't want the government involved more, but the market loved when you saw the Pfizer vaccine announced. So the market can look past where we are currently, and it'll look past day-to-day numbers of increased cases, and it's going to look to a time when we have a vaccine. We've already seen the worst of this behind us back in March and April. So the market is looking forward, looking at earnings, and looking at a country that's reopened again. So that's why we're right at all-time highs, and we're going higher.
Mike, final word. Francis, I want to thank you both very, very much. Stay well, healthy yourselves, guys. Much appreciated here.